刺激经济增长，刺激经济成长. Not gonna lie, this is a tough one this time. Welcome back to Runner's Garden and my series, What a Character. Hey, I'm Jay, and I make videos about traditional Chinese characters in alphabetical order in the pinyin system. Last time we did the characters for the sound form chun, chun, and chun. If you'd like to check out that video, there it is. Today we have the sound form ci, 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 and ci. First, we should differentiate between ci and si. Here are the phonetics. Ci, si. The first one is like a TS sound, ci, and then, or maybe even TSZ, Z, Z. In pinyin, it's written CI. C's are always t. By contrast, S, spelled SI in pinyin, could be thought of as being spelled SZ. Incidentally, this phonetic symbol also has a meaning as a radical. It means private, which we will see later on in the video. Let's also not confuse C with Z, which is more like a DZ, rather than a TZ, T as in Tom. And the I could be as in ch, or no sound at all. In this case, I'm kind of elongating the c. The I can also be like a long E sound, as in chi or air. That's one of the weird things about pinyin is this, the I final vowel. Here's character number 1, si. Example, ci xin. It means female for animals. This component means this on the left. We will go over this later. But it's made up by the zhi and the bi. Zhi means stop or halt. This is the remote for our heater fan up there in the bathroom. And that is how to stop it. B is spoon. Stop the spoon. Stop that spoon. I've done this joke before. And this component is zhui, which means bird. Here's JC in Japan feeding some. Kind of looks more like a bird cage than a bird. Well, that's not used in spoken Mandarin. It's a component meaning bird, but when we're talking about birds, we would say meow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 strokes. So this bird, how can we remember that it means female? The regionalism that uses the slang term bird to refer to women is primarily found in the UK and Ireland. The term is colloquial, informal, and increasingly considered old-fashioned, similar to chick in American English. Its connotations vary widely by region, context, and generation, ranging from a neutral or affectionate slang term to one that is seen dismissive or sexist. I don't want to be sexist here, but we can use it to remember our character. Christmas elves have struck again. Got a raised bed back here on this side and on this side. Recently here, it was kind of all overgrown with this stuff, which I like to plant, but it was just too many, so I plucked them all out. Before I throw them away, I like to let them dry out because it takes less space in the garbage bag. But somebody cleaned it for me. I can't believe it. Character number 2 is second tone ci. There's actually 5 second tone ci. This one means porcelain or china, lowercase china, ci qi, porcelain. And also using the compound for tile, like tile floors. Tile is everywhere here in Taiwan. Ci zhuan, tile. My father was a tile setter, master craftsman, actually. He did mosaics and everything. It was really cool. His buddies bought him a ticket to visit me. I took him to a tile store and he loved it. He had so much pride in what he did. Let's learn the character. Again, second tone, ci. The top of the character, ci, which means times, like twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. It looks like the character 2. In my last video, I talked about a kung fu fighter throwing a punch. We're going to get to that later. And then on the bottom, wa, which is also another word for tile, specifically roof tile. It's also used in watt, as in kilowatt, and wa si, which is gas, which is used for cooking here. You're going to see this as a little bit of a stretch, but the first thing I personally thought of when I look at this character is the cross-section of a side view of a foot-powered Singer sewing machine. Now, the reason why I thought this is because I believe both my grandmother and my mother had this sewing machine that could be collapsed into a desk or a table. It was only about this big. You could lift it up so it's functional or push it down and it would become just like a regular table. And so the unit was inside. Stroke in the character reminds me of that. And then the bottom, there were foot pedals that would operate the, I don't know what that part is called. The needle. Machine. Putting that all together, we have a character that means times over something that already means tile. Our next second tone 词, it means word. Example, 动词, that's a verb. 名词 is noun. 形容词, describing words, literally adjectives in Chinese. This is the stereotypical Chinese character where you have a meaning, radical, and a sound form or phonetic component. So you have yen, that's the spoken radical. It makes sense because the definition is word. And then you have si, as in, for example, gong si or company. It's a 5-stroke character here. So you put the yen and the si. Si rhymes with ci. So that's why it's a phonetic component. It's Christmas, Constitution Day in Taiwan. Schools are closed, but this bakery's open. For the next two 词, second tone 词, you're going to need to know this component. This is our phonetic component 字, which means now, and it rhymes with 词, which is also its alternate pronunciation. This would be pronounced more like DZ, and 词 would sound like TZ. It's 草, the grass radicals, over yao, which is thread or small or base. The one with the heart radical means kind or benevolent. Makes perfect sense because you show your kindness with your heart. 慈爱, 慈爱, loving care. 慈悲, benevolence or mercy, and we've had bei in a previous video. The 慈 with the stone radical can be seen in the compound 磁铁, or magnet. As an ESL teacher, I see those all the time in the classrooms because they stick to the whiteboards. 磁力, magnetic force, magnetism. Wouldn't you agree that the double yao characters remind you of a physical phenomenon produced by motion of electric charge? One more time, it's shi, rock, next to zi, which is a character that means now. That produces the second tone, zi, magnet. I really should save this one for the end, but it's also second tone, 词. This 19-stroke character, second tone, means decline, resign, or leave, or diction. 辞退, dismiss, or fire. 辞退, fire. 辞职, 辞职, resign from one's job. Oh, he's getting out of there in a hurry. If you'll recall, I said this character also means diction. Here's dictionary. 字典. I know, if you're new to Chinese, you've learned 字典. However, you'll also see 字典 in an unabridged dictionary. Here's the character in an English to Chinese dictionary. On the top left, 爪, the claw radical. It actually looks like claw marks. And then we have the inverted or upside down si. Inside the jiong, wide radical, there's another si and a yo, Let's go back to si. There's a left angling si and a right angling si. And to me, it looks like bent arms, akimbo style. To the right of all that, sheen. To me, it looks like scaffolding, toilsome. And this character is quite toilsome. Let's see that one more time. And to the right, check out that variant and the simplified. Pause if necessary. Again, as a noun, diction or phraseology, and as a verb, decline, resign, leave. On to third tone, 子. For example, 鼻子,鼻子 is likewise. We learned this character before early on. Check it out here. 彼此,彼此 means mutually. Used independently, it simply means this, such as
请勿关此开关.
Please don't turn off this on-off valve. Used as this here, please pick up and pay for your food at this window in the McDonald's drive-thru. 因此 means therefore. So it's kind of formal, but you'll see it a lot. If you'll remember, this is the first component or the left side component of the one that meant female in first tone. Stop and spoon. While we're talking about spoon, just be careful not to make a chi 7. Here are the three fourth tone, 字. This fourth tone, 字, means times. The top half of character number 2 we did today, meaning tile. 字数 means the number of times. When we're counting things, times of things. 一次,两次, that's twice. 三次 is 3 times. 四次, and so on. 上次 means last time. 下次 means next time. This fourth tone 字 can also be pronounced 是. It means wait. 伺候, to wait or attend on. Kind of an antiquated term. Low-ranking people being servants, maybe to upper-ranked people. Fairly simple number of strokes. It's the same in simplified. We have the 人 to the left and 思, again, the sound form, to the right. Again, 思 was, for example, in the word 公司 or company. 司 can mean to be in charge of. So when you put the 人 in front of it, it's somebody's in charge of you. This character is, I believe, 2733 as far as the frequency number. So again, pick your battles on this one. And finally, the last fourth tone, 刺, is to stab, or as a noun, a thorn, as a verb, to pierce. 刺杀, assassinate. We have a component, 刺. That's the tree radical, 木, superimposed under or over 中, which means wide. That on its own, 刺, means to stab. And a knife radical, the inverted knife radical, to the right. Sometimes Taiwanese hikers, when we're in the mountains, they'll point out a bush and say, oh, 有刺哦. Be careful, it has thorns. The same goes for fish, when people warn you that there are bones. So they're not really thorns, but they are sharp. 有刺哦. Those little bones. Incidentally, if you're in Taiwan and you eat fish at a restaurant, you're not supposed to flip the fish over to get at the meat on that side. You're supposed to eat the meat on the top of the side of the fish and then pull the bone out instead of flipping it. Why? Because it's an old tradition, superstition, that is kind of bad luck to the boats. Like the boats will flip or something. This is what I learned in Taiwan. Maybe you've had the same experience. 刺激 is stimulate. Yeah, if you brush against thorns, that would be very stimulating. Not in a good way. So this can have positive or negative connotations. So negatively, it would be irritating. So it could be used in the sense of provoking. If somebody's driving at you with their high beams on, you can say 刺眼. It's stabbing your eyes. 刺眼. Positively, it might be exciting. You say it.
刺激经济成长.
Thank you. Stimulate the economy. That was 9 characters today. Next time is the sound form tong. Thanks for watching. Runner's Garden signing off. Jingle bells, jingle bells. 爸爸好厉害。